Hey, Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ bless. Welcome to 15 Minutes with the Captains. I'm Captain Josiah. Today's topic is going to be anachronistic biblical texts. Anachronistic biblical text. And we're going to start out with Isaiah chapter 48 and verse 3.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 48, verse 3. I have declared the former things from the beginning.
This is the Most High. He says, I have declared the former things from the beginning.
And they went forth out of my mouth.
And they went forth out of my mouth. Where's the Most High? Right here. This is Bible. Read it one more time.
I have declared the former things from the beginning. And they went forth out of my mouth.
All right. So from there, let me get that link first, IT. Let me do that first.
This is the definition of anachronistic. It says erroneous in date involving anachronism. 1775, see anachronism. Entries linking to anachronistic. Anachronism, 1640, an error in computing time or finding dates.
So this says an error in computing time or finding dates. Go ahead.
From Latin, anachronismus. From Greek, anachronismos. From anachronizine, referring to wrong time.
You see that? Referring to wrong time. Referring to wrong time. Go ahead.
From ana, which means against. See
right.
ana.
Ana means against. Go ahead.
Plus chronos, which means time.
So right. So now the term anachronistic means against time. Okay, go ahead.
The meaning, something out of harmony with a specified time.
The meaning, something out of harmony with a specified time. All right. So now, give me the second one, and then we'll go to Genesis 14.
Anachronism, from the Merriam-Webster Dictionary. Definition of anachronism, an error in chronology, especially a chronological misplacing of persons, events, objects, or customs.
Now, this says a misplacing. So one definition can be an error. Read on.
In regard to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, a person or thing that is chronologically out of place.
Something that's chronologically out of place. Like I see it there, but it doesn't fit in that time period. Give me the next one. 3.
Number 3, the state or condition of being chronologically out of place.
So same thing. Out of place, out of time. All right. Genesis chapter 14. So again, anachronistic biblical text. All right. Genesis 14 and 6 and 7.
Verse 6. And the Horites in their Mount Seir unto El-Han, which is by the wilderness. And they returned and came to En-Mishpat, which is Kadesh, and smote all the country of the Amalekites.
So now it says they returned and smote all the country of the Amalekites. Wait a minute, but the Amalekites, which we're going to get into in a second, they came later on, right? So let's get that real quick. Let's reference it in Genesis 36, verse 12.
The book of Genesis, chapter 36, verse 12. And Timnah was concubine to Eliphaz, Esau's son.
Right.
And she bare to Eliphaz Amalek.
She bare unto Eliphaz Amalek. Okay, read on.
These were the sons of Ada, Esau's wife.
Jump down to verse 15 and 16.
Verse 15. These were dukes, the sons of Esau.
These were dukes, the sons of Esau. Read on.
The sons of Eliphaz, the firstborn son of Esau.
Yep.
Duke Teman, Duke Omar, Duke Zepho, Duke Kenaz, Duke Korah, Duke Gatam, and Duke Amalek.
And Duke Amalek. And Duke Amalek. So now what are we reading about in Genesis 14 and 7? Let's go back to that.
Genesis chapter 14, verse 7.
Now when you go to Genesis 25, Esau was born in Genesis 25. So now why is it mentioning Amalek that came out of Esau in Genesis 14 and 7? Read that.
And they returned and came to En-Mishpat, which is Kadesh, and smote all the country of the Amalekites.
They smote all the country of the Amalekites. Now, earlier when I read it, we read verse 6 with it. Read 6.
Verse 6. And the Horites in their Mount Seir.
Now, that's key because, again, when you get into the history, you'll find out that the Horites dwelt in Seir before Esau did. Okay? Now, read 7 again.
And they returned and came to En Mishpat, which is Kadesh, and smote all the country of the Amalekites.
And smote all the country of the Amalekites. Now, that says all the country, meaning that land that became possessed by the Amalekites was the same land here. Okay? So now this is an example of anachronistic biblical text. It's given a name, but represented for a later time. You see that? Now, give me that Isaiah again, where we started with, Isaiah 48 and 3.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 48, verse 3. I have declared the former things from the beginning.
You see what the Most High says? He says, I have declared the former things from the beginning. Read on.
And they went forth out of my mouth.
And they went forth out of my mouth. Now, let's get the next one. Let's go back to Genesis 14 and verse 14.
Genesis chapter 14, verse 14. And when Abram heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed his trained servants, born in his own house, 318, and pursued them unto Dan.
You see what it says there? He says, Abraham or Abram pursued them unto Dan. But wait a minute. Dan was one of the sons of Jacob. So you had Abraham, which had Isaac, which had Jacob. Jacob had 12 sons. Dan was one of them, right? Let's get that, matter of fact. Give me Genesis 30. All right? Genesis 30 and verse 5. And we're going to come right back. So there is no error with the Most High. The Most High knows exactly what he's doing, exactly what he's saying in his word, all right? We just got to get the clarity and the understanding thereof. Genesis 30, verse 5.
Genesis chapter 30, verse 5. And Bilhah conceived and bare Jacob a son.
Read.
And Rachel said.
So this is one of the concubines, okay? Bilhah conceived and bare Jacob a son. Read.
And Rachel said, God hath judged me, and have also heard my voice, and have given me a son. Therefore called she his name Dan.
So see that? She called his name Dan. So now later on, when you read it in the book of Joshua, the lands were established. They had allotments of land set up, okay? Not Jacob, but Judah's here, Ephraim's here, so forth and so on. So go back to Genesis 14.
Genesis chapter 14, verse 14. And when Abram heard his brother was taken captive, he armed his trained servants, born in his own house, 318, and pursued them unto Dan.
Right, and pursued them unto Dan. Not that Dan existed back then, but he's just giving a reference point on the land. That way we could know when we look at a map, oh, where was Dan's allotment of land? Okay, it was here. All right, that's the land that he was talking about over here. So an example of anachronistic biblical text. Give me Isaiah again. Give me that. Matter of fact, give me 46 and 10 now.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 46, verse 10. Declaring the end from the beginning.
You see what it says here? Declaring the end from the beginning. Read on.
And from ancient times, the things that are not yet done.
He declared that land, although it wasn't named that yet. He said, okay, Abram pursued them unto Dan, but it wasn't Dan at that time. But Moses had it recorded like that, so we had a reference point. Okay, read again.
And from declaring the end from the beginning, and from ancient times, the things that are not yet done.
Read.
Saying, my counsel shall stand.
My counsel shall stand. Read on.
And I will do all my pleasure.
I will do all my pleasure. So the Most High knew exactly what he was saying, what he was doing when he had Moses record those things down. He knew exactly what it was. Now give me that definition one more time.
Anachronism. Definition.
Just give me the second one.
Number 2. A person or thing that is chronologically out of place.
Right. A person or thing, meaning the lands that we just referenced, that is chronologically out of place. So although Amalek and Dan did not exist in Genesis 14. The Most High had those referenced so we know where those lands existed in our time, for example. All right? So, Lord willing, y'all got some out of the lesson, Israel. With that, we say shalom.
Shalom.
We used to scream black power while Heron was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission. Minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold. From Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.